stream Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Gyan and Organ Donation India Foundation. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic, and today's topic is not only current, very, very relevant. And the topic is, are marital breakups avoidable? Marital breakdown refers to the common process whereby the relationship between a married couple erodes such that they cannot ordinarily restore their relationship. There are many stages to the process, and each individual goes through the stage at different rates. It is a complex process involving psychology, personal finance, and often religion. It is the breach of domestic anticipation, often leading to a divorce or dissolution of the marital relationship. Often there are children, in-laws, and other individuals involved in the process. It seems like it would feel obvious when a relationship is about to end, but that is not always the case. You might be so blinded by your own feelings or hopeful expectations that you are missing some subtle signs that you are avoiding a breakup. Although it's true that some breakups can be avoided with some work and effort, other relationships may already be so tarnished, a breakup is going to happen inevitably, whether it is now or in the future. If you are starting to see all these ominous signs, it might be time to take action so you can get your life back where you want it to be. And to discuss this very, very important topic, are marital breakups avoidable? We have a very elite, knowledgeable, experienced panel with us. And I would like to invite my first panelist guest, and he is Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand is the senior psychiatrist and marriage counselor. Dr. Rajiv Anand passed his MBBS in 1976 and did MD in psychiatry in 1980 from King George Medical College, Lucknow. He opted to serve his country when it was very common to settle abroad for a brighter future. He has been serving society with his base in Mumbai. He has clients all over India as well as in many other countries. He was honored with Lifetime Achievement Award by AMA. He has conducted more than 3,000 workshops for different groups and companies with audience size of 10 to 800. His television program on various channels have been widely appreciated for his forthright and practical approach. He is leading in the field of mental and emotional well-being for 41 years. He was president of IMA for 2 times. He was interviewed in several talk shows domestically and internationally. Welcome, Dr. Rajiv Anand on our show. Dr. Rajiv Anand, you being a senior psychiatrist and marriage counselor, you might be approached or you are getting so many clients or patients because of the breakups which are happening nowadays. So we would like to know from you, being an expert, are marital breakups avoidable? Dr. Rajiv Anand, please.
Thank you, Mr. Lal, and good morning to my fellow panelists, Sanjana ji, Rita Banerjee, and Gayatri Nathani. And also, it's always a delight to be here on this discussion, on this media conference, because you happen to meet so many intellectuals from different backgrounds, people having different views. And I go back learning much more than I'm capable of sharing over here. So I'm looking forward to hear all the 3 great ladies who have vast experience in their respective field. I have a habit of talking at a very, very base level or very simplified level. So I wonder many times, by virtue of being in the profession of marriage counseling for last more than about 41 years, I wonder many times, why do people get married? Are they clear about why do they get married? Marriage happened to be a central institution of the whole life. Marriage happened to be a very, very important activity of the whole life of a person, right from the time when he's a 4 or 5-year-old child, boy or a girl. In the house, people talk about तुम्हारी शादी होगी, तुम घोड़े पर जाओगे, तुम्हारी बारात निकलेगी, तुम्हारा दूल्हा आएगा, so on and so forth. So everybody looks forward to the marriage. And marriage happened to be also one of the most devastating event of the life. So many songs, so many depression, so many suicide, so many heartbreaks happen because of marriage. So are people aware why do they get married? Often I ask this question myself, because if I ask this question to anyone else, people would feel offended. Don't you think that we are dumb? We don't know. Why are we getting married? People would really feel offended if this question is posed to them. So I often pose this question rather than asking them, I ask myself as if I'm asking them. Because most people are blissfully unaware about it, that are they getting married for 1 year program, 5 year program, 10 year program, 20 year program, or 50 years program. Because a boy may like a girl's eyes, so you want to continue staring in her eyes. Somebody like girl's nose or lips. Somebody may like girl's body or figure. Somebody may like complexion. Somebody like voice. Some girl may like a boy's height or his hair or his muscles or his income. I find that many of the things which are superficial, which are visible and which are tangible. And those people who are listening to this program, I'm sure they know the meaning, very simple of visible and tangible. जो चीज देखी जा सकती है, जो चीज छुई जा सकती है, वो चीज हर पल कम होती जा रही है. So most such people who marry for the sake of each other's external beauty or external attributes, they are the first one to lose interest in the marriage much sooner than they would ever imagine it to be. So once they marry for the sake of love, what they think love is attraction based on the hormones, based on the drives, based on the impulses, based on the various curiosities about exploring each other's body. Those marriages are already set on the path of disenchantment, disinterest, and they find living together very difficult after a couple of weeks or months. Years is too far, because the way things are happening all over the world, more so in our society, that people, even though they are love married, they announce it from the rooftop that we are love married. Where does the love disappear after a few weeks, after a few months? And if they claim to having been married to love marriage, did they really know the meaning of the love? Because love would be permanent. Love can never be that I would love you for an hour or for a day or for a month, and thereafter I would stop loving you. If the love could be stopped and could be started, then this is machine, this is not love, this is just a robo. If I could say I would be honest with you for an hour, and 1 hour later, 61st minute, I would be dishonest with you. That means the honesty is my business. I can put on like a cloth and I can take it off like a cloth. Same way for the love. So what is happening in the society is a little pathetic. It's a matter of concern. It's agonizing to people like me and Gayatri and so with Sanjana, so with Rita, who have been in this profession of dealing with people with the marital discord, that are people aware where are they heading to? Or where they are leading each other to? Under the pretext of love or attraction or self-proclaimed ever-binding relationship. The word relationship is so popular these days. Everybody talks about relationship, the relationship counselor who themselves are having their married life in shambles. Their relationship expert who are not even graduate. Their relationship coach who do not have basic qualification of knowing anything, but they have appointed themselves relationship coach, and people get guided to them, and they'll end up one of such relationship coach shouted at the husband in front of his wife and almost gave a verbal slap to the husband that you don't take care of a wife. What kind of a husband are you? What kind of man are you? Such is the abysmal quality of understanding of the word relationship, as if two children should stop fighting and they should shake hands and they should kiss each other, and that's what marriage counseling or that's what any kind of counseling could be. People have this kind of notion. So anybody and everybody think, let's join the bandwagon of relationship coach, marriage counseling. Gayatri must be smiling within. So will be Rita Banerjee from Lucknow. So why not we should talk this matter, talk this issue. What is required for marriage to last longer? These days, I'm struggling with a lady who is young, but she asked me why marriage should last longer. And she had, in her own way, justified the question why we should think about 50 years lasting marriage. And any kind of explanation by me falls flat in her mind. Why can't we have our own choice? what is this old traditional system of कि एक बार marriage की डोली में आए हैं और उसमें जाएंगे वगैरह वगैरह जो भी होता था. So many of them they are exploring the permutation combination of the new type of marriage, like the new currency crypto, who has no guarantee, something like that. They're trying new combination that हमें marriage में बंधना नहीं है. Now this is a new phenomenon which is very alarming, which is very disturbing, and which is digging at the root of the relationship. And that's what I'm going to talk about just for a minute or so. कि हमें relationship में बंधना नहीं है. तो नई generation में, नई education में, नई समझ में बहुत सारी लड़कियों को और शायद लड़कों को भी, लेकिन लड़कियों को ज्यादा ये लगने लगा है कि हमारी मदर की जनरेशन बहुत दब के रही, चुप करके रही, बंद के रही, उनको फ्रीडम नहीं थी, उन्होंने इतना कुछ सहा, वो सब कुछ नहीं कर पाई जो करना चाहती थी. हमें बंधना नहीं है. So they want to enter the marriage with terms and conditions. And let me question all of them. If you have terms and conditions ready, forget relationship. Let Gayatri smile loudly. If you enter in a terms and relationship, अगर लाल साहब मैं आपके इस टॉक में आने से पहले शुरू के 5 मिनट बता दूं टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन मेरे ये होंगे, तो आप थोड़े से अनॉय हो जाएंगे, बोलेंगे भाई बेटर यू रिमेन आउट, लेट मी कैरी ऑन विद माय प्रोग्राम. अगर मैं संजना से एक कप चाय पीने से पहले साथ में बोल दूं टर्म्स कंडीशन ये होंगे, then we are setting a wrong precedent that we don't know the relationship, even over a social meeting, even over a cup of tea. There's no terms condition with people whom we care for. And here, plenty of girls do have ready terms and conditions before they enter marriage, as if this is a business contract. The only thing so far, they don't get it signed like MOU. I'm sure that in the near future, there will be something like MOU, or there would be registration of this terms and condition agreement, so that nobody will be able to back out that whatever the marriage certificate is more fancy or more for other purposes than this. So once people have this notion that we can bind someone to follow our terms condition, कि मैं ये करूंगी और मैं ये नहीं करूंगी, मैं मानूंगी, मैं नहीं मानूंगी, तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स हमारे साथ नहीं रहेंगे, टर्म्स कंडीशन नंबर 1, तो मेरे बिना कुछ भी काम नहीं करोगे, condition number 2, so on and so forth, and vice versa. Maybe I might be sounding MCP to some people. Maybe I might be sounding that I'm taking side of the man and not. But the disturbing thing is that, the disturbing trend is that more marriages these days are breaking down because of lack of adequate understanding on the part of the female. And I'm not against that. I'm in favor of institutional marriage. And I'm very heavy protagonist of the women power. I'm very heavily influenced by all the mother in the world, and specifically my mother. If our mother wouldn't have been that sensible, that grounded, that humble, that patronizing, that sincere, this society would not have lasted so long. Each one of us today, wherever we are because of our mother, because they had great value system. They have great adjustment power. They have great tolerance power. So why am I talking about these few things? Great tolerance power, listening power, adjustment power, because this is what marriage is meant for. Marriage would last as much as we have quality, we have inherent quality to listen to someone else, to accept someone else as one is. First, accept someone else before changing. Understand someone else how one is, because one has come from a different background, socio-economical, educational, financial, and many other variables. So people have come from different backgrounds for the sake of finding each other's company attractive or each other's company interesting. So let's live together. So better way to live together in the institution of marriage, so that we don't have to shy away, we don't have to hide from anyone. So we are legitimate husband and wife. So people seek marriage for legitimization of their attraction for each other, or their being close to each other. If that's the only goal, then inevitable word as you have used is marriage breakdown is inevitable, because there's arrangement for the convenience. And today, what is convenient to me, tomorrow it may not be. A particular cloth may suit my body requirement, my body measurement today. Tomorrow I may grow my body dimension, that cloth may not suit me. Today I'm in a particular weather, so a particular cloth may suit me comfortable, but tomorrow I may shift to some place which is warmer. The same cloth may not suit me. That's what exactly happened. People get married, and a year later, 2 years later, each partner doesn't suit each other. So marriage gets pushed to inevitability of breakdown. My concern, being in this profession, which I do not claim that I'm an expert in, I'm still a student, I'm still an observer of a great relationship called marriage. And I call it great relationship for the simple reason because the society in the future would be determined by the quality of the marriages today. If quality of marriage is not good today, tomorrow we will find abandoned kids. We would find children orphaned. We would find vagabonds. We would find antisocial because they will not have the kind of value system ingrained in them as we are lucky enough to have seen those kind of parents, what we had. That today we cannot do anything unfair. We can't steal away. We can't take away someone's right. We can't take away someone's belonging. We can't think of encroaching on someone's space, private space or otherwise, because we have a strong value system. And what are we witnessing in today's changing world, alarmingly changing world, because they don't have the value. So institution of marriage is that important and that crucial for each one of us to respect that before we enter. Before we enter, we very strongly recommend to everyone whosoever is contemplating marriage, boy or girl, to go through pre-marital orientation course, pre-marital sensitization course, so that everyone would get exposure to emotional makeup of each other, what are the social, intellectual, emotional requirement of each other, where are the traps, where are the likely mistakes, where you're likely to do errors, where you're likely to create major misunderstanding in a relationship. All these things need to be understood preferably before marriage. And if for 100 reasons, many people are not realizing the value of this pre-marital orientation course, then as soon as after marriage, and if even that is not acceptable to many people, why should we? We know where is nose, we know where is eyes, we know where is which part of body. Why do we have to go to someone to listen to? They think that the only thing they will be told in the pre-marital orientation course is about the design of the body, or the contours of the body, or the curves of the body. And that's a simple word can be called rubbish, because it's not all, as I said in the beginning, tangible and visible matters only 5% or 10% the first few months, or maybe few years on the higher side. That's why these days, if a marriage lasts 5 years, one has to really pat their back. Wow, you've done a great job. If 5 years you haven't got, your marriage is lasting, because many of the marriages begin cracking much earlier than 5 years. So external attributes, external beauty are the biggest catch, biggest trap, where most people fall into the trap and they think they are married. Even so-called love based on attraction, based on need fulfillment, based on being a proud possessor of a good-looking girl as the wife, even that would not last. Or even having caught a good guy who was being sought by every girl in the college, and he is now my husband. He is now my husband, and I wouldn't let any girl send SMS to him. I wouldn't let him smile at any colleague in the office. Even that would not last. There has to be a deeper foundation. So this topic, what Mr. Lal has taken up today, is extremely important. As every one of us who is aware, awake, responsible citizen of the society, whosoever is listening in any part of the world, any part of the country, should shake himself and wake himself and wake up his children. That are we marrying with clarity? What are we marrying here for? Sex, superficial pleasure, possessiveness, that is available in different ways for different people in different methodology. Neither I am promoting it, nor I have anything to comment on that. But once you say marriage, then there are certain protocols, there are certain expectations, there are certain things which go along with it. And one has to accept it, and one has to respect it. I shall stop here and would look forward to listening to my other colleagues, and then in the second round, something more I will talk about it. Back to you, Mr. Lal.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv Anand, for giving your expert opinion about today's topic. And according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, if the love or the marriage is based only on the external beauty, external attraction, then definitely it will not last much. And then the breakup is inevitable. But he says that if it is not a external attraction, if it is with the conditions that if any conditions are also there, then it is not going to last. And according to him, that's why the pre-counseling, marriage counseling is very much required, so that counselor will come to know and can explain why the marriage is required. Because according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, if one is just thinking about the beauty, external handsomeness, etc., then why the marriage is required? He says according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, he himself asked why people are going for the marriage institution if they cannot respect the institution. According to Dr. Rajiv Anand, he respects the marriage institution very much, and that's why he expects that whosoever is coming and trying not with each other, they must respect the institution from heart, not just for the attraction, just for their expectations, just for the conditions which will result the breakups soon. It can be less than 5 years, or it can be more. So according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, it is only possible if you are doing it with your own conscious, and if you are knowing that it's going to be long lasting, then one should go for the marriage. Otherwise, if it is only for lust, it is just for the attraction, then this breakups cannot be avoided. And if we have to make a breakups unavoidable, then one has to do it from their own heart and passion. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand, for giving your very, very expert views. I am sure our viewers who are watching today's program will come to know about why the marriage institution is so important. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Miss Rita Banerjee. Ms. Rita Banerjee is the former General Manager in charge in State Innovations in Family Planning Services Projects Agencies, SIFPSA. It's a UP government society working for maternal, newborn, child and adolescent health for reducing IMR, MMR and population growth. Welcome, Ms. Rita Banerjee, on our show. Ms. Rita Banerjee, you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand has mentioned. And
Thank you, sir.
And he's very, very clear that
Thank you, sir.
Either one should not enter in the wedlock, and if they are entering in the marriage institution, then they should see to it that it should last forever. But in case if it is only for the physical or just for a short time thing, then one should not enter in the marriage institution. Now, we would like to know from you your views on, are marital breakups avoidable? Ms. Rita Banerjee, please.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Definitely, I agree with Dr. Anand that marriage institution is very important, and one has to be mentally prepared before getting into this institution. That what are the pros and cons? Generally, what happens, we don't understand that what will be the end result and what all is going to come in this program. We only think, as told by him, the body attractions, the sexuality and all, but the responsibility which is being followed in this marriage life, we don't understand that. But to this, I will definitely would like to add one thing, that such things occurs from our childhood only. If we have seen our parents fighting, the children, they follow those things, and once they get married, the same things continued with them also. So it is no doubt, I will definitely say with very strong words, it is the responsibility of the parents also to nurture their children, to give the value of a good married life, so that they'll be able to have their own good married life once they get married. The problem with the younger generation which comes is that they want that people should understand them. Then they will understand. They want them that we should understand each of the individual rather than understanding them. What happened that they always think that my thought is more important rather than the others. But in a married life, if the spouse are not understanding each other very well, so the end result is not going to come. The understanding, lots of difference in the internal thought, in taking decisions in going further. As Dr. Anand very well said, that I do understand, yes, things have changed a lot. During our parental time, when our parents were there, when our mother have given us that, and we have seen our mother working for the family and sacrificing a lot. The same thing I will say in the present generation has differed a lot, in the sense that now sacrifices or understanding comes from both boys and the girl. But what happened when it comes to one person, that one should understand only, the girl thinks the boy should understand her, and the boy thinks that the girl should understand, that the problem arises there only. If we will collectively understand each other, if we will respect each other, if we will appreciate the thought of each other, if we will develop and understanding equally with each other, the marriage problem will be solved. There will be no divorce. There will be no misunderstanding. Because generally what has been saying, that it is the conflict, it is the argument, it is more who is better than whom. Just because of that only, we reaches to that divorce system. Then what happened? One thing is more seen, that now the present younger generation, as I have talked, I do programs with the adolescent, and I have to think about what I do, even if it is a boy, even if it is a girl. So here it was what the financial thing was there, that the women was very adjusted to the married life. They were doing very well with it because they were not so financially strong. In the present generation, what we have seen, the girls are equally doing well with the finance. So they don't need any financial support. The more they need is the emotional support, the touch, the understanding, the compatibility, which no doubt I will definitely say the boys need to understand that. Unless and until they will understand that the scenario has been changed. And unless and until that understanding is developed, we are not going to move any further with it. Then when we talk about what is there, that more of the rigidity part is there in both. Here I will talk about both boys and girls, both. That rigidity is there, that my experience, my understanding, my thought is always superior than the other person. Whether is also the partner is well educated, earning well, have good understanding, good at a good position in the office. Why can't that person have that same understanding? So one has to respect each other's thought very well. And once we do it, we will definitely go further. One more thing which has come nowadays, if somebody is having a toxic relationship, then carries that toxication in the marriage also. Or the secondary, because then it becomes the habit of that person to working with that toxicity. So it is very important that toxicity should be removed. Now, if you see what happens in this, the present generation, that time being less, both the girl and the boy being working together, getting up in the morning, speeding up with the work, going in time to the office, coming back, and then this with your this media thing, the mobile, we are more paying time for others rather than we. That we part is very much missing. That quality of time spending is very much missing. The communication part, we do communicate on phone with our friends, with our office, with this online or a lot. But if you ask them, do we sit even for 1 hour or half an hour talking with each other, understanding each other, discussing things with each other? No, the time is missing. And as the world is growing, as India is in India, we need the married couple, the younger married couple, to sit together, to spend time with each other, to understand each other, to just handhold each other, just to hug each other, that is important. And we are missing those things. We have taken as if marriage is more related to the financial issue, and the girls today, they have solved the financial problem. That is not there. It comes out with so much of responsibility, with so much of understanding, it's so much of because once as I heard Dr. Anand that the children say the present generation is saying, why to have a longer married life? Exactly. Then why to have the other longer time? Once we enter the office, why we want to stick to one office to stay there for a longer time and get promotion there only? Why? Why then we take marriage to be a short term? Whereas once when we are with parents, we are having our parents for the longer time. But once when it comes to marriage, we think, nahi, hum बार हम छोटे छोटे से काम चला लेंगे, क्यों ना हम 4 हस्बैंड कर लें, 3 के साथ हम पार्टनरशिप कर लें rather than 1. But if we will have, if that understanding is lacking, whether we'll have 4, we will have 3, we won't be able to stick with anybody. If it is understanding is there, we'll be able to stick with 1. And with this, very important things I would like to add, that how it can be avoided, as asked by Dr. Lal, that it can be avoided in many ways. Like both the spouse should support each other, should understand with each other, should communicate with each other. Even if somebody is having a problem of any discussion, of any decision taken, one should come out with each other openly and just come out with a feeling and tell them that what we have taken it, what we have understood, and what we are not agreeing to, rather than arguing. One thing is very important, that we often in a marriage, as it comes with an argument also, lots of argument is there on various issues. Sometimes we take such decisions once we are angry. One should never take any decision once we are angry. One should never lie with each other. That openness has to be there. Because if things are not open at one level, the other level, something will be opened. Then it will be there, ki, I was not told about it. Why it was not discussed earlier? So it is very important. We just communicate with each other very well. Then discussion part on any of the decision is also equally important. The trust is important. Nowadays, we don't trust each other. If a boy is doing a night shift, if a wife a night shift, or the husband is doing it, one will always issue that you are going out, you are spending time in the night. So that trust issue has to be developed very well with each other, that we are there to have a life, we are there to have family life. So unless and until we will trust each other, it won't be easy for us to stay under one roof. So these things, with these, I will definitely would like to wind up and wait for the second round. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Banerjee, for giving your views. And Ms. Banerjee has very clearly mentioned, but one new thing which she has mentioned is that when we are talking and we are putting the onus or the responsibility to the younger generation, we must also see the behavior of the elders. And she says that what the parents are doing, the children are following that. If the parents are fighting each other, then the children are also going to have the simpler type of their family life. So if we want that the marriage has to last forever, then we must see to it that we should set up such type of things in front of our children, that they should not feel that they are going to see what they are seeing every day or many days in the life of their parents, the fighting with each other. And that's why the responsibility of the parents also are there, not only the youngsters, that if the marriage breakups have to be avoided, then the parents should inculcate such type of values in the youngsters so that they will not go for the divorce and other things. Secondly, she says that's understanding, communication, trust. So she has, according to her, so many things are required which are not there. Nowadays, everyone wants to, not everyone, many wants to go for the short-term things that we can have 3 or 5 years of one marriage, then go for the other. But she says when people can serve in the office for longer duration, why not you serve or you have in the marriage institution for long duration? So according to Ms. Rita Banerjee, there are many factors, but if people understand and if they properly counsel, then the breakups can be avoided. Thank you very much, Ms. Rita Banerjee, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Ms. Sanjana Grover Sheth. Ms. Sanjana Grover Sheth, professionally, Ms. Sanjana can qualify as a journalist with over 25 years of experience in the for-profit and not-profit sector. She has worn several hats, having built relationships, done business developments, fundraising, created and negotiated meaningful partnerships with current focus on consulting for the non-profit sector. Ms. Sanjana and her son live with the geriatric parents. She is currently pursuing her hobby of storytelling via her YouTube channel, Life Begins at 40, that brings stories of ordinary humans' extraordinary achievements. Welcome, Ms. Sanjana Grover Sheth, on our show. Ms. Sanjana, you have heard Dr. Rajiv Anand as well as Ms. Rita Banerjee. Both have given their views very, very clearly. Now, we would like to know your views on our marital breakups avoidable. Ms. Sanjana Grover Sheth, please.
Dr. Lal and esteemed panelists, I am very honored to be part of this discussion today. This discussion is actually quite close to my heart since I'm a single parent and my son is now grown up and also contributing to the economy as a working human. So because the topic was so interesting and I wanted to speak from my own experience and observation of the world around me, that I thought it may be a good idea to also read up a little on the institution of marriage. And what was very interesting for me was that, of course, globally, for better or worse, the world has changed over the last 100 years. As humans have evolved, so have relationships and how we do things, including our expectations, as is evinced from what Dr. Rajiv shared, that शादी कितने दिन की कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है आज के लिए और क्या हम लोग क्या करना चाहते हैं उसमें और कितना एडजस्ट करते हैं और कुछ चीज में शायद पूरी अग्री भी नहीं करी उनकी बात से कि it is a woman's wisdom that keeps a marriage going. And Rita ji ने कहा that understanding, adjustment, toxicity has to be taken care of. These are some of the elements that make for a strong relationship. So मैं पढ़ रही थी that World War I saw women coming to the workforce, and that is when they actually started taking a stronger role in our society. And slowly we evolved from courtship to what is today called dating. Loveless marriages still exist, but they are not the norm. And it took a while for people to grasp the idea that love and marriage are two members of the same team. And we added to this with the idea that marriage should be based on sexual attraction and fulfillment, as Dr. Rajiv very rightly said. But over a period of time, as we progressed to 20th century, love and attraction became more and more important. So in India, marriage is a basic institution which establishes a moral and legal relationship between a man and woman. As a culture, हमारे लिए marriage is a sacred union between man and woman for all, for spiritual, for social, and physical purposes. So it is believed that the purpose of marriage is to enable a man to become a householder. और ये बहुत टाइम इमेमोरियल से चल रहा है कि we procreate for performance and salvation, and over the years we have complemented each other. A lot of my thinking is influenced by the celebrated philosopher Alain de Botton, who I absolutely love and who has authored something called the Essays of Love. For me, he's a realist, far removed from the dreamy world where the couples these days, egged and confirmed by social media they live in, feel that the ideal definition of true love is without any conflict. And Alain de Botton says that love is not normal. And that idea or definition of love we have, ki jahan pe koi conflict nahi hoga, everything will be hunky-dory and there will be smooth sailing all the time, is just not possible. Falling in love is easy, but what comes after is important. How love deepens, how we stumble through our challenges, how we survive, how we evolve over time is important. The way we perceive things, as Rita ji said, is based on our external factors, our parental relationships, how we think, we process and act is all reflected in various areas of our lives. And this includes our love relationships. I personally feel, having been separated from my husband for over 20 years, आज मेरे को वो wisdom है to understand that relationship with myself is more important than what my partner does or what is right or wrong with him. I have had to re-examine the way I look at relationships. The course of true love is not smooth and easy. It's rocky, it's bumpy. And the best we can do is manage. I have realized that I am flawed, and the best I want is to understand that just as I am flawed, everybody else is flawed in their own way. The topic of love is complex. We need to recognize and distinguish the initial crushes we had from true love. Which adage hai na, that marry in haste and repent at leisure, is actually quite true if we are not aware and realistic of our expectations. When I don't know myself, how can I claim to know another process? So marriage, I now realize, is a process of discovering our real, true, authentic selves all the time. And I would like to bring forward some case studies, mine included, where I lived up on a diet of Mills and Boons and romantic stories. And I thought that the day I got married, my life was going to transform and I would have the most beautiful relationship. Little knowing that the person I was marrying is also coming from a background where he has had his own expectations, experiences, gone through various circumstances, and therefore I lack that ability and maturity to look beyond my own expectations and to understand his challenges. He tried, he cared enough for me, but was cared enough, and there were a lot of things that went wrong and we separated. I have a lot of young friends in today's time who are in their early 30s and separating from their husbands because, as Rita ji and Dr. Rajiv very rightly pointed out, that women have become independent. As times have progressed, हम लोगों की responsibility सिर्फ घर की नहीं रही. We have come into the public arena where we are contributing to the world and the society and the household in a different manner. Our roles have expanded, and therefore to balance that role requires far more grit and ability. In the process, we lose some of our patience. We are developing some of the qualities that men possess, and men, I feel, also need to move on with time. As to our elders, I see that the older women are easy to judge the women within the younger women within their household because their upbringing is different. So for women to not feel judged and to feel respected and cared for is also something that only time will bring. Young girls who are doing extremely well and in some cases better than their husbands feel that they don't need to take daily arguments, the inability of the husband to take care of them and to support them in their ventures. So they don't make an effort, they just walk away. And this has happened with a few of my friends where I am actually, having been through it, surprised that with the lack of, or with the little effort they show towards communication, they are living as friends and they have now become friends with benefits, and they are happy in that avatar while they date other people. As a 54-year-old, I am telling you that when I go out to date, the expectations of the world and the society have changed drastically. Human beings our age also just want no commitment. They do not want deep thinking in relationships. They just want to have a good time and be interacting with people who are not committed in any way to anything. And these are some of the things that are a revelation for me. They are not something that I expected when I went out onto the dating platform to understand what's happening. So I personally feel that we need to re-examine the way we look at relationships. The course of true love, like any other, is not smooth and easy. As Dita ji said, we cannot, जब हम अपने माँ बाप को नहीं छोड़ते, तो how can we think about leaving our husbands and wives and our partners just like that? The topic of love is complex, and we are constantly romanticizing the single biggest enemy of, which is the single biggest enemy of love. We must give up a lot of feelings that got us into love. That, you know, the man will come and Prince Charming will come and take us away on the horse, and that when we come back from work, he'll be sitting at home and cooking for us. So what we normally do to keep relationship going is what we need to focus on. Addiction to our definition of love keeps us away not just from ourselves, but from the entire relationship as such. I would say that for me, over the years, what I have understood is that a few factors that contribute to a good relationship is communication. We break relationships when we feel that when we do not feel heard. A lot of the time, and this has happened with me, I have sulked and locked myself into a room or bathroom, expecting that the person I was with or in love with would suddenly get batti chamkegi dimag mein, and they will get all lit up, because intuitively they are supposed to know what is upsetting us. They are also human. Just because I'm locked in the bathroom does not mean कि उनको दरवाजे से पता लग रहा है what is troubling me. So they don't understand themselves, just as we don't understand ourselves. And communication is dodgy. It is dire. It will collapse unless we build and rebuild on it, and we communicate with each other, and we make each other a priority. Then the next point I realized, and as per my understanding, is sex. We attach a lot of attention to sex, and not just we, it is the external environment around us. Friends will ask each other, "Arey, how's your sex life going? What are you doing? How are you doing it?" And the media, social media, kind of reiterates it. I know of people living in, who are in loving, healthy, monogamous relationships without too much sex. Social media says, fulfills our egoistic need for sex and multiple partners and need for constant exploration. As for me, it is an egoistic addiction, unless, of course, there's a real problem, which could also be the case. And these are things that we don't recognize. It is about commitment. I could be walking on the street with my partner, and I see another person who I'm attracted to physically, who seems absolutely beautiful to me. What do I do about it is what the relationship is about. I remember that I am in a committed relationship, and I don't pay attention to that feeling. It's momentary and it will go. But if I give in to it, that thing will become an addiction and a habit, and I will keep repeating my pattern and not want to get out of it. So it's about self-discipline. Judgment. The next point is judgment. We all have to know that we are work in progress. I am work in progress. My partner is work in progress. However, having said that, we also have to know when the other person is not able to leave their patterns and get into accepting mood of efforting to understand a point of view which helps us grow together, right? So, and I mentioned commitment and space. Another thing I realized that I had given up my life completely. I had no life at all. I only wanted to do things with my husband. I only wanted to do things that would involve the two of us. And I realized that this was preventing us both from creating our own individual spaces and come back together as friends. This was putting too much expectation on each other, and the two working partners and a lot of times living together, you need space, you need your own ability to do things, have your own set of friends, have your own set of hobbies. And if you are not able to do that, then relationships can become claustrophobic, right? So of course, space is, I feel, very, very important. And lastly, something that I personally have learned and I'm practicing is that we have to remember not to be lazy. In all our relationships, when we are working and we get reprimanded from our boss or we are not able to do something properly, we keep making an effort until we succeed. We just don't leave one job after the other because it's not working out for us. We keep the courage, we keep the desire to carry on, we keep the passion to discover and rediscover ourselves. So in the end, all I would like to say is that we complement, as human beings, we complement each other. One may have the strength that we lack and vice versa. The ability to reflect and voice expectations, some of which may be met and others that may not be met, is very important. I feel marriages are made, I may sound old-fashioned, but marriages, like all relationships, require and are made for long-lasting companionship. And if it requires, we must undergo counseling. For that helps us unravel ourselves and the relationship. It helps us leave the rigid pockets of our own mind to walk into open pastures where we can meet with fewer biases and more patience, while also understanding our own attachment styles, whether these are anxious attachment styles, whether these are avoidant attachment styles. What is this that drives us? And if it still does not work, then of course, separation and divorce are always there. So with that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sanjana Grover Sheth, for giving your views. And Ms. Sheth says that she is a single parent and she separated for about 20 years back. And she has given her own experiences, and she says that there are expectations of both the partners. So one should not consider only one partner expectations more or less, because earlier the financially responsibility was not only for the man, but now financial stability of women is already there. So there is nothing that anyone can take advantage of that with the other partner. Similarly, she says that communication is very, very important. One should communicate with each other so that there should be not a surprise factor among the relationship. And about the sex, she said that it should be a committed relationship. It should not be a temporary one that somebody has seen some beautiful face or handsome person and they carried away it, because they should understand that this relationship, the marriage relationship, is not a temporary, it's a long-lasting, it's a committed one. And she also mentioned that we all are in work in progress. So we have to understand and we have to keep ourselves in that way. So thank you very much, Ms. Sanjana Grover Sheth, for giving your views. We understand the feelings because you have first-hand experience and you know how good or the bad relationship can make or break the mental condition of the one person, whether it's man or woman. Thank you very much, Ms. Sanjana Grover Sheth. I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Ms. 𝐂𝐀𝐑𝐔 𝐍𝐄𝐖𝐒. Ms. 𝐂𝐂𝐑𝐔 is a senior psychologist with around 17 years of experience in this field. She has had varied exposure in multitude areas of counseling, such as marriage counseling, HIV, AIDS counseling, child sexual abuse, play therapy with a special emphasis on child counseling and relationship counseling. In the area of child counseling, Ms. Gayatri has worked both freelance as well as in association with reputed schools of Mumbai, such as Lady Engineer, Poddar International, and Good Shepherd's School. Ms. Gayatri has a very high emotional quotient, and this has stood her in a good stead for her pro bono work with various NGOs such as Stri Chetna for marriage counseling, Manav Seva Sangh for adolescent and geriatrics. In addition to all of the above, she is very much clued into the mindset and ideology of children and youth and bonds with them empathetically very easily. She believes that marriage is commitment, growth, involvement, and evolvement. It is where both the partners equally work to keep the marriage going. Welcome, Ms. Gayatri Nathani Patil on our show. Ms. Gayatri, you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand, Ms. Rita Banerjee, as well as Ms. Sanjana Grover Sheth has mentioned. They have given their views. Someone has given the views where the blame is on the youth or the young generation. One of the panelists says that even the older generation is also responsible. The parents are also responsible, as well as one panelist has mentioned that both the partners are responsible if the marriage is not, it's breaking at any given point of time. So now we would like to know your views on are marital breakups avoidable? Ms. Gayatri Nathani Patil, please.
Thank you, sir, for having me here. And with respect to all the panelists, all their viewpoints are correct. Somewhere everybody has shared what they have seen, what they have witnessed, what they have experienced. And working with all the age groups, sir, whether it is children, whether it's adolescents, whether it's the marriage couples and the geriatric, everybody generally lives their lives with their own experiences, which most of them who spoke have covered. But kahin na kahin, I feel that inculcating values in our children, like someone rightly said, starts in the family within itself. Like, agar bacche ko toy de diya and the toy breaks, immediately the parents nowadays, including me, would say, acha theek hai, keep it aside, we'll buy a new one, rather than questioning the child कि बेटा why did it break, how did it break. तो हम यहीं से उनको संभालना नहीं सिखाते अपनी चीजें. Everything is easily available. So our relationships nowadays, the young generation, somewhere the minute the one relationship fails, it's up on the Facebook, that I am single now I am in a new relationship. So there is no value of relationships happening at all nowadays. People are okay, there are no heartbreaks. Even if there are heartbreaks, that would just be momentary for about a month, 2 months. Okay, not realizing that, okay, even I could have been wrong, rather than blaming the other person for it. Like, I really liked what Sanjana ma'am said a few minutes ago, that somewhere down the line she also realized and had missed being matured and understanding the other person's viewpoints. Probably tab agar hota, or I'm sure इन्होंने भी कोशिश की होगी, things would have worked better. People get married nowadays, it's a very hunky dory thing. Getting married, it's a society pressure. सब लोग बोलते हैं कब शादी करोगे, where people where youth is not ready. Even at 26, 27 now, people still want to be single. They want to understand what life is all about, but because of the society pressures, they get married. And whether it's a love marriage or an arranged marriage, somewhere discussing what your relationship vision is, how far are you going to take this relationship, how far are you ready to work for it, how far are you able to compromise things for this relationship. We don't discuss all this, sir, neither do the parents. Like Rita ma'am said, mold or desensitize children, whether it's a girl or a boy, that बेटा शादी के बाद ये सब दिक्कतें भी आएंगी. It's not only going to be, a nice garden of roses जहाँ आपको फूल ही दिखेंगे. So what kind of responsibilities children have to go through? What kind of sacrifices would they have to make? Nobody desensitizes them about all this, which is very, very important. So, like in some of the communities, premarital counseling is a must. So I feel it should be made important, and that up shadi karne se pehle, please go to a relationship coach or go to any elder. For elders, maybe sir, problems would be different, not necessary what problems one family has faced, the same problems the other family would face. So हम ये भी नहीं बोल सकते अच्छा आप किसी बड़े से ले लो. A professional help is always needed, which is lacking again. So somewhere the mindset has to change कि अगर शादी करनी है तो हमको इसको निभानी भी है. It cannot come with a time frame. गारंटी एक्सपायरी तो किसी भी इसका नहीं होता है, पर it doesn't come with a time frame. So somewhere it needs to be worked on. Marriage has to be worked on day in and day out. हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि ठीक है अभी शादी हुई, हमने पहले 2 साल बहुत काम किया, अब अगले 40 साल आराम से कटेंगे. नहीं, it has to be worked till the end of your life. If you really are in love with your partner spiritually, emotionally, you are connected. And बहुत बार the cases that come to me are always blaming the other person. Nobody owns up responsibility. Nobody says yes, I flawed here or ये मेरी गलती थी. It's always the other person who was at fault. तो हम ये बैठ के कभी सोचते नहीं है, even if it is the other person's fault, why has the person behaved like this? Every action has a reaction. So अगर person ने ऐसे react किया तो action क्या था, वो हम कभी नहीं सोचते. So it's always come up with it is the other person who was at fault. तो जब हम बैठते हैं, जब हम बात करते हैं, it somewhere comes up as that जो भी होना चाहिए अच्छा होना चाहिए, बुरा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. Nothing can go wrong in my marriage, which is very, very wrong. Everything cannot be very nice. और जो बोलते हैं, जो elders बोलते हैं या जो अभी भी बोलते हैं कि नहीं हमारी शादी में तो कोई problem था ही नहीं, तो कहीं ना कहीं I don't agree with it sir, because अगर सब कुछ अच्छा दिखता है मतलब definitely there is a problem. तो ये कहीं छोटे generation को बोलना कि there is no problem in our relationship doesn't work that way. Like the others said, we need to communicate a lot. When it comes to communication, there are boys even now who would go and tell their parents everything about what is being discussed in the bedroom, which is somewhere not right. So a guy or a girl needs to be that mature enough that there are certain things that are supposed to remain between a husband and a wife. Everything cannot be shared with a family. Yes, until and unless it's a huge thing that they are planning to. But छोटी छोटी बातें जो होती है जाके family में discuss करना, then there is nothing that is between the husband and the wife. Then it becomes a family affair. Expectations need to be discussed. Finances need to be discussed. How much is the girl willing to compromise, or how much is the girl willing to adjust, with a monthly budget that both of them are earning. Somewhere लड़कियों को ये सिखाया जाता है अभी कि बेटा you don't end up giving your salary in the house. But if the girl and boy have decided to get married, and if they are searching for equality in everywhere, then why not in sharing the expenses? Then why should it only be one person's responsibility? It should be both the people who are sharing. So finances need to be discussed properly. Equality needs to be discussed. आज भी sir, though we are living in a very broad-minded society, so-called broad-minded society, but if a girl has a conference or if a girl has a seminar to attend, she has to do all the household work and then leave for it. Whereas if a man has it, he just takes his bag and goes away. So ये जो पूरा सिनेरियो है ये कहीं ना कहीं चेंज होना चाहिए. There should be equal distribution of work even at home, irrespective of whether it's a love marriage or an arranged marriage. It just cannot be कि ये लड़के का काम है और ये लड़की का काम है. Now times are changing. पहले के टाइम पे, yes, like Dr. Rajiv said, we are more grounded because our mothers were more grounded. True, agree to that, because somewhere women are wired that way. Women are wired to be more nurturing, more caring. Women are wired to be more forgiving. But again, times are changing. It's both the people who need to be learning to doing this, and we need to learn to prioritize our relationship. That no, this is important. जैसे किसी पैनलिस्ट ने अभी कहा कि हम फोन पे कनेक्ट कर लेते हैं पर हम अपने स्पाउस के साथ नहीं बैठते, which is very true. Like how much do we call up our spouses and ask them कि तुमने खाना खाया कि नहीं खाया? Very few couples do it nowadays. One message and that's it. So वो एक phone that yes, I am connected to you. It's not only खाना खाया, but it shows how much caring you are for the other person. How much do you think about the other person? And how do you make your bond stronger? एक दिन में तो होता नहीं है, sir. It takes years to make your bond stronger. Irrespective of whether you've been in a courtship before marriage. Before marriage, when you are in a courtship, things are very, very different. Okay. When you are married, things are very, very different. And then is the time you actually think that, did I get married to the right person? Because he was not like this before marriage. But then things have changed, priorities have changed. Again, when we say priorities have changed, we don't somewhere need to forget that this is the person I got married to, so I need to be giving equal importance of my time to this person, vice versa, whether it's a girl or a boy. So again, planning time out with yourselves, with your husband, with yourself, with your friends, everything needs to be strategized. There are couples abhi bhi, who go out with friends every weekend, but they forget to spend time with themselves. They forget to spend time. The two of them don't take out time for each other. Or aise karte karte, sooner you have kids, and then again when kids are there, you don't know how to divide your time. So again, then that becomes a cause of concern, because again, you've not discussed that when you have kids, how would you take care of the kids? Who is willing to sacrifice on their jobs? Who is willing to uh, take care of the kid in a particular way? So all this needs to be discussed when you are in a relationship. Again, saying communication is very, very important in every aspect of a relationship, in everything that you decide to do. Tolerance, patience, जो आजकल के young generation में बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. I mean, कुछ भी हो जाता है, चलो, I need a divorce. Divorce has become a very, very easy word, a very easy thing that is used in every household nowadays. कि ठीक है, चलो, नहीं जम रहा ना तुम लोगों का, आप लोग आपस में divorce ले लो. But can't things be done until and unless there is no physical abuse happening? Okay. Emotional abuse, again, how do we define emotional abuse as? It's a very broad term. Like I said, there is no tolerance and no patience. So today, if a wife is demanding something and a husband says, I cannot do it for you today, the wife would say, no, I am emotionally abused. He doesn't buy me things. But the husband said, he is not going to buy it for you today. He did not say he'll never buy it for you. So we don't read between the lines. So somewhere that is very, very important, that we need to teach today's generation that you need to read between lines. Immediately आपको conclusion पे नहीं पहुंचना है. थोड़ा patience, थोड़ा tolerance level with all your relationships, you need to nurture them. And somewhere, that willingness to make the relationship work needs to be there from both the sides. When one person gives up, then counseling also doesn't help, because आप एक जन को तो counseling करोगे, दूसरे को क्या? That, so willingness to make the relationship work needs to be there on both the sides. And I cannot say, okay, we can change the other person. No, we cannot change the other person. We need to have that much of patience. And moreover, to change the other person, sir, we need to somewhere connect with the person to correct the person. If I am not connected to him and I am not understanding what does he mean to say, then I cannot be correcting him. So that is somewhere which we really need to be working on, connect to correct your spouse, both ways, try to understand their viewpoints, try to understand what is happening, try to understand if a person has said something, why has the person said that way, rather than reaching to conclusions and then reaching in for divorce. बहुत बार ऐसे भी होता है सर कि when I get clients, most of the clients who come to me generally are very young couples, where 6 months of marriage, 8 months of marriage. They're very, very young. And they just say we are not compatible. And compatible in what? We're compatible in everything else, but when it comes to sex, we are not compatible. So I just want to go separate ways. But then I still feel only when you are emotionally connected with somebody can you be sexually connected with somebody. Otherwise, sex with no strings is always open. So to have a proper sexual relationship, also you need to be emotionally connected with the other person. That is missing. So we need to cultivate, we need to nurture emotions in people, rather than telling them that everything is easily available. We need to learn to tell our younger generation that for everything, divorce cannot be the last. अगर कोई बोलता है that we are married for the last 45 years, it really comes as a surprise to us. Oh my God, how did you all survive for 45 years? So those 45 years mein, what have the challenges that they have faced? What are the sacrifices that they have made? And what all have they compromised? And when they tell us that, do we question ourselves? Are we ready to go through all this? So before getting married, before getting into a committed relationship, it's very, very important to ask ourselves, am I able to take care of myself and my moods and my mood swings, that I will be able to handle another person? If I am not able to take care of another life, then I cannot be getting committed in a relationship for marriage. So that is very, very important, that we need to instill in every individual nowadays. And if we are committed, if we have got married, we also need to learn to preserve that marriage. So if we want our spouse to work in a way that we want to, we also need to work in a way that the spouse wants to. So it's a mutual understanding that we both need to go through.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Gayatri Nathani Patil, for giving your views. Paucity of time, so I will not like to summarize, but her views are very, very clear that one should understand each other. And she has given a very unique example of a child breaking a toy, and how we always say, okay, don't worry, we'll buy a new one, let it break. Similarly, we should understand that the child mentality, when we grew, will have the same mentality. Why not to break the relationship? Relationship is also available. So thank you very much, Ms. Gayatri, for giving your views. Now, I would like to go for my second round, and my question goes to Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand, my first and the foremost question to you is only one. Why do most relationships fails? What is the main thing? Why they are failing? Why it cannot be avoided?
Very simple answer to that is that however we may claim that we love each other, or whatever other claims about the vows in the marriage, deep down, essentially, we do not respect each other. And this is one candid admission. I have no issue about saying the people who really matters to us, closer they are, the higher respect we should have for them. And there cannot be any compromise. And you can't pretend and you can't bluff. Your lack of respect can't be camouflaged, can be covered up by any sophistry of words or manners. Most men do not respect their partner enough. And equally tragically, unfortunately, most women exercise more right on their husband than respect them really genuinely deeply. if they could increase the respect quotient 10%, survival of the marriage could increase much more. Back to you, Mr. Lal.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Now my question goes to Ms. Rita Banerjee. Ms. Rita Banerjee, who is responsible? Everyone mentioned counseling. Don't you think counseling for the young generation is important, or the counseling for the elders are important? Because as per the report, the in-laws plays a big role, both sides. I'm not saying one in-law or the other side, or no. Why not before the marriage, the in-laws should be counseled how to cope up when the marriage takes place, how to behave with the daughter-in-law. Similarly, how to behave with your son-in-law, or how to behave with your daughter, what you have to say, what not to say, how to see that the marriage should go long-lasting. So don't you think that instead of counseling the youngsters, counseling of elders are more important? What you say about this, Ms. Rita Banerjee? Please unmute.
Thank you, sir, for asking that. In fact, I was preparing myself just to conclude with these only. What we have seen with the younger generation is interference of the elders, the parents, both the parents, whether it is a boy side or the girl side, both the parents have increased the divorce case in India. Because I have personally also seen people around me, the younger group around me, the younger couple around me, that once if they are allowed to talk with each other, once they are given time to solve their own problems, they will end in running their marriage life in a happy way. But what happens, it comes when it comes to the parental side and the interference of elder parents, it comes, then more of the problem arises. So you have very well said that counseling is very important to them. It is in them only. In fact, I will say that it is not the counseling, but the terms changes with the with the daughter and the sister-in-law. Once if the जैसे अगर उनकी बेटी का husband उनके साथ बहुत अच्छा करता है, they are impressed, they will praise it. But अगर अपना बेटा अपनी बहू के साथ अच्छा करेगा, तो they will not appreciate it, which is becoming a very common factor. Why it's so? Why that difference? If your daughter will have a better life, why not your daughter-in-law will have a better life? Why that difference of eye is there? That difference of eye needs to be changed, and once it will be changed, there will be no problem at all. And the Indians will continue as it is.
Okay, thank you very much.
But
Ms. Rita Banerjee, you are indirectly hinting that the mother or mother-in-law's role is not correct, and that is the main problem for this breakup. So I think that what Dr. Rajiv Anand initially said, although I never agree, but now I feel...
sir.
Yes, please. Yes.
So the father-in-law also, not the mother-in-law. It is the father-in-law. It's the in-laws.
Okay. But generally we have seen. But generally we have seen. But generally in the families we have seen the mother-in-law always deal with the daughter-in-law. Father-in-law's role is very less, especially in India. And similarly, the mother role is more with the daughter. Mother role is more with the daughter, not the father's role with the daughter. So that's why, that is the reason. Anyway, thank you very much. Now my question goes to Ms. Sanjana. Ms. Sanjana, trust, faith, sacrifice, understanding. These types of words are always being said whenever there is breakup or something. There was no trust, there is no faith, there is sacrifice. One should do sacrifice, one should do... Why all these flowery words we are using? Why not we give a proper education about the marriage, that the marriage is such type of thing, as one of the panelists said, it's not a garden of roses, but we are showing them that it's a garden of roses. So if we are not giving a reality, then how we expect that the marriage will long last? What do you say about this, Ms. Singh?
Dr. Goel, all I will say is that we use words very loosely without understanding them. It is the intent, the effort, and a deeper understanding of the work, application to self and then others, that would really make for stronger communication and a stronger marriage.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, my last question to Ms. Gayatri. Ms. Gayatri, marriage from the childhood, the girls were taught all shows the dreams. रात वो लड़का आएगा, boy with such a very high dreams. Similarly, for the boys, the dreams will show that the girl you are going to marry will be like this. So we create a hype. Don't you think this is one of the reasons that when the reality comes, either the boy or the girl both get the setback, and then their breakups become inevitable? Do you agree with this or not?
Yes, sir, I do. And that is why the reason is we should always say that whatever, whichever, however life partner you get, try loving the person you have, rather than appreciating the menu on the other table. Try relishing your own menu that you have. Try loving the person you have in your life.
Okay.
And it's a lifetime work.
Okay, thank you very much. So viewers, we have seen today that marital breakups can be avoidable if only both the sides try, and not only the boy and girl, even the parents of both sides has to be involved. So it's the responsibility of the civil society, and we should not blame only one generation, whether younger generation or the elder generation. I think the mindset of the entire society has to be changed if we want that the marriage to be long lasting. From the childhood, the proper education should be given, not to be shown dreams which are going to break, because after all, dreams are never very often it's not true. So one has to be very careful, and one should always understand that the life partner is for the lifelong partner, not for just a Maggie type of thing, 2 minutes or something like that, just a short-term things. One has to go for the long-term. Then only this marital breakups can be avoided. And responsibilities are for everyone, whether it's a communication, trust, faith, understanding, whatsoever, one all has to do. And then we can very proudly say that there will be no breakups in our society. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Caru News, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarocar News, Bharat Post News, Gyan, as well as twice shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor to bring to you a new topic every day in the media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Tomorrow our topic is OTT, Impact on Society. Yes, we have heard correctly, OTT, Impact on Society. And our panelists are Dr. Mukesh Sharma, former Director General, Films Division of India, former Additional Director General, Doordarshan, Ministry of I&B, Government of India, Ms. Urvashi Mittal, District Secretary, Inner Wheels, District 301, New Delhi, Advocate Avishi Dhaka, Supreme Court, New Delhi, and Dr. Nikita Pawar, Family Physician and Online Consultant, Mumbai. So please tune in tomorrow for media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Thank you very much, Ms. Rita Banerjee. Thank you very much, Ms. Gayatri Patil. And thank you very much, Ms. Gayatri Nathani Patil. And thank you very much, Ms. Sanjana Sheth Grover, for joining and giving your views. And I'm sure today's program is very enlightening. And if even one marriage breakup is stopped by hearing or viewing this program, I am sure the program, we will be very happy and we'll say that our program is successful. So thank you, viewers, for watching our show. Thank you very much.